Jai Hind, everyone. Welcome back to the channel where history breathes, heroes live on, and stories of valor echo through time. Today, we begin a powerful journey into the life of a legend, Field Marshal K.M. Cariappa, India's first commander-in-chief and one of the tallest figures in our military history. This series is based on the celebrated book by C.B. Khanduri, and we're going to explore 8 thought-provoking questions and answers out of 44 questions that is there in our PDF that uncover the life, values, and legacy of this great son of India. But here's the twist. This isn't just a history lesson. We're bringing you rare insights, powerful takeaways, and little-known facts that will hook you in and inspire you deeply. So if you're passionate about history, patriotism, leadership, or just love incredible life stories, this video is for you. Don't forget, like the video if you enjoy the content. Subscribe to the channel to follow this full series and share this video with friends and family who need to hear about real-life heroes. Let's begin with question number 1 and uncover the journey of a man who redefined discipline, leadership, and nation-first thinking. Let's start with question number 1, which states, Field Marshal K.M. Cariappa, the first commander-in-chief of the Indian Army, grew up in a humble and value-rich environment that shaped his leadership and character. His early life is a story of discipline, dreams, and deep-rooted values. Based on his childhood, family, education, and inspirations, what are the key life lessons that young aspirants can learn from his early years? Dosto, Field Marshal Cariappa was born in the serene hills of Coorg. Cariappa grew up in a humble farming family, a home filled with love, discipline, and deep-rooted values. These early years laid the foundation for the man who would one day lead the Indian Army. Life Lesson 1: Family and roots matter. He was incredibly close to his family, especially his sister. This emotional grounding gave him strength and clarity throughout life. Lesson 2: Be proud of your heritage. He learned to take pride in his Kodava roots and the legends of Coorg, realizing that knowing your past gives you power in the present. Lesson 3: Take inspiration from parents. His father's strict discipline and his mother's gentle kindness gave him a rare balance, honesty, compassion, and a spirit of sacrifice. Lesson 4: Excel in studies and sports. From school in Madikeri to college in Madras, on a scholarship no less, Cariappa pushed himself in both academics and athletics. Lesson 5: Respect teachers and mentors. British teachers like Whitworth and Steele taught him the power of being punctual, well-dressed, and a natural leader. Lesson 6: Dream big, start young. As a child, seeing soldiers from World War I made him secretly dream of becoming an officer. He didn't just want to follow, he wanted to lead. Lesson 7: Stay bold and curious. Yes, he was mischievous too, like the time he pulled a prank in the chemistry lab, but it showed his boldness and curiosity. Lesson 8: Build strong character. He wasn't a genius, but he was disciplined, hardworking, and always reliable. Integrity became his identity. Lesson 9: Stay emotionally grounded. He was tough on the outside, but deeply spiritual and sensitive on the inside, especially when it came to his family. Moving ahead and now, question 2, which states, Field Marshal K.M. Cariappa's journey from a student to India's first commander-in-chief is a powerful example of grit, values, and leadership. His selection, training, character, and early military career are rich in lessons. Based on his training and transformation into an officer and a gentleman, what can young aspirants learn from this phase of his life? Dosto, let's rewind to a young Cariappa, standing the shadow of the British Raj, ambitious, determined, and completely unfazed. Lesson 1: Believe in yourself. Back then, only one officer vacancy was available for the entire Kodgu district. Everyone thought it would go to a wealthy boy from a royal family. But Cariappa, he stepped up, asked for the interview, and got selected. Lesson: Confidence breaks barriers. Lesson 2. Training builds character. He joined Indore Cadet School in 1918 and, within 18 months, was commissioned as a King's Commissioned Indian Officer KCIO, equal in rank to British officers. Lesson: right training can place you among the very best. Lesson 3. Live by strong values. From day one, he lived by a code: discipline, honor, fairness, and self-control. He even stood firm against the idea of ENA soldiers joining the Indian Army not out of politics, but because of military loyalty. Lesson: integrity is the true mark of a leader. Lesson 4. Master your skills. Be it tactics, weapons, or field craft, he put his heart into every drill. He played hockey and cricket with equal passion and finished 7th out of 40 cadets. Lesson: skill plus sincerity is equal to real success. Lesson 5. Stay confident in any crowd. His peers included royalty, cadets from Jamnagar, Kapurthala, and Patiala. But he never felt small. He stayed humble yet confident. Lesson: don't compare. Focus on your goals. Lesson 6. Start small. Dream big. His first posting? Just a second lieutenant, IN 927, in Colaba, Bombay. No fancy title, no headlines, just hard work. Lesson: every general starts as a recruit. Start small, but dream big. Lesson 7. Learn from mentors. Men like H.V. Cobb, Whitworth, and Steele left a mark on him. Cobb even became godfather to his children. Lesson: good mentors don't just guide, they shape your soul. And, dosto, if you're enjoying this content, please like, share, and subscribe to this content. We've created a complete set of 44 questions from the book. And guess what? These cover every possible question that can be asked. Nothing's left out. If you still haven't got your copy of the PDF, don't wait any longer. Feel free to call or message on the number given below. We'll get it to you right away. And here's more. We've also created a separate PDF just for operational art. So if you're focusing on that section, we've got you covered. Look, if you're serious about cracking the exam, this PDF can be a total game changer for your preparation. Each question comes with clear, concise key points and expected answers that'll help you score higher and revise smarter. Let's move on to next question, that is question 3, which states Field Marshal K.M. Cariappa's journey through Staff College and his personal life reflects both his professional brilliance and personal resilience. His ability to lead with dignity in the face of discrimination and personal heartbreak made him a stronger leader. Discuss the following. A. What challenges and achievements marked his time at Staff College, Quetta? B. How did his personal life, especially his marriage, affect him and shape his personality? C. What lessons can be drawn from the way he handled failure, both in career and personal relationships? Let us answer it part by part. First, Staff College, where brilliance met bias. His British mentors pushed him to apply to the Staff College in Quetta, a prestigious institute few Indians dared to enter. But his journey wasn't easy. He faced bias, discouragement, and racism, yet cleared the entrance with solid credits. He trained with the best, even attending orientation courses in London with elite regiments like the Coldstream Guards. He wasn't afraid to speak out, challenging racial discrimination and advocating equal rights for Indian officers. While others stayed silent, Cariappa stood tall. He also wrote brilliant military papers that caught attention. But when he returned, senior posts were denied. He accepted a lower position, DAA and QMG, and excelled quietly, proving once again that rank means little when character shines. Let's move on to part 2 of the question. Marriage, a battle within. Dosto, in 1937, he married Muthu Machia, and they had 2 children, Nanda and Nalini. But military life kept him away for long stretches. The distance grew. The love faded. Muthu turned to social circles and drinking. Jealousy and silence filled their home. By 1945, the marriage ended. She walked away, and Cariappa took a vow of celibacy. His mother died of heartbreak, but Cariappa carried the pain alone. He raised his children as a single father, leaning on relatives for help, never once letting personal pain disrupt his duty. Lastly, we will see lessons in leadership through loss. Lesson 1. Never give up, even when the system fails you. Faced with racism and career blocks, he stayed humble and worked even harder. Lesson 2. Handle personal pain with dignity. He didn't blame, complain, or seek pity. He focused on his mission. Lesson 3. Let setbacks shape you, not break you. Loss didn't harden him. It deepened his compassion, discipline, and resolve. This phase didn't make him bitter. It made him better. He emerged as a selfless, respected, and emotionally strong leader. If this part of his story touched your heart, please take a second to like this video. It's easy to admire strength, but let's also respect the quiet struggles that shape that strength. Moving on to question number 4, which states, Brigadier Cariappa's command of the Bannu Frontier Brigade offered a vital proving ground for his evolution into a strategic leader, balancing combat readiness with political sensitivity. Critically examine how Cariappa's experience in Bannu demonstrated his preparedness for higher command and eventual national responsibilities. In your response, analyze his military innovations, civil-military engagement, and troop welfare initiatives. Further, assess how this phase contributed to his selection for the Imperial Defence College and shaped his role in the reconstitution of the Indian Army during Partition. Dosto, question 4 takes us into the rugged terrain of the Northwest Frontier Province, where Brigadier K.M. Cariappa led the Bannu Frontier Brigade, a role that would shape his destiny and prepare him for national leadership. 1. Military innovations. Brains over brute force. Cariappa restructured convoys, making them shorter and irregular to confuse and avoid ambushes. He taught his officers never do the same thing at the same time in the same way. Smart moves saved lives. He also modernized the brigade by integrating light tanks, artillery, and armored vehicles, boosting both mobility and morale. The result? A sharp drop in tribal attacks during his command. 2. Civil-military engagement, winning hearts, not just wars. Instead of ruling by fear, he built relationships with tribal elders, including the legendary Fakir of Bannu. He even had a well built for local women, earning the affectionate title Khalifa. When Jawaharlal Nehru and Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan visited Bannu, Cariappa hosted the event, blending diplomacy with leadership. Where the British had failed in places like Rajmarg, Cariappa succeeded because he respected people, not just protocols. 3. Troop welfare, a leader among soldiers. He started JCO messes to give dignity to Indian ranks previously overlooked by colonial officers. He improved food, healthcare, and spent time playing sports with his men. During the 1946 food crisis, Cariappa even offered to cut army rations to help civilians. The offer was declined, but his patriotism spoke volumes. 4. Chosen for the Imperial Defence College. His tactical brilliance and human leadership didn't go unnoticed. Field Marshal K.M. handpicked him, one of just 2 Indians to attend the elite Imperial Defence College in London. There, he impressed legends like Bill Slim and Montgomery, sharpening his strategic vision and inter-service coordination skills. 5. Rebuilding the Indian Army during Partition. He was recalled to India in 1947, just in time to help divide the British Indian Army between India and Pakistan. It was chaos, but Cariappa showed calm, strategic foresight. He balanced national pride with professional integrity, helping to rebuild the Indian Army from the ashes of empire. Dosto, this wasn't just a promotion or a posting. Bannu was a crucible. It tested his leadership, sharpened his ethics, and marked the beginning of Cariappa's rise as a national icon. Let's move ahead to question 5, which states, irregular warfare on the northwest frontier demanded an unconventional mindset, high adaptability, and inspired leadership. Critically evaluate the strategic and psychological principles outlined by Brigadier K.M. Cariappa in his 10 Commandments for Success in Tribal Warfare. How do these commandments reflect an understanding of asymmetrical conflict? And in what ways do they demonstrate the blend of tactical innovation and leadership philosophy required for success in tribal warfare? Illustrate with examples from frontier operations, if applicable. Dosto, question 5 takes us deep into the mind of Brigadier K.M. Cariappa during one of the most complex military theaters of his time, tribal warfare on the northwest frontier. This was not a war of tanks and trenches. This was a war of wits, nerves, and adaptability. And Cariappa? He didn't just fight this war, he rewrote the rules. Presenting his legendary 10 Commandments for Success in Tribal Warfare, a masterclass in asymmetric strategy. The Commander's Framework, broken down. Yes, Commanders isn't just a word, it's an acronym for his 10 battlefield principles. C. Control the nature of battle. Set the tempo. Don't react, initiate. By choosing when and where to strike, Cariappa reversed the power dynamic. Example, his irregular convoy movements in Bannu confused and outmaneuvered tribal ambushes. O. Outsmart the enemy. Know them deeply. Respect them as thinking opponents, not just threats. Cariappa studied tribal customs and psychology. He didn't underestimate them, and that made all the difference. M. Match irregularity with irregularity mobility. Ambush. Surprise. He urged his men to fight fire with fire, adopting the same unpredictable methods the enemy used. M. Move constantly. Never stay still. Mobility beats defense. His patrols kept shifting locations and routines, never giving the enemy an easy shot. A. Aim with precision. Every bullet counts. Limited resources demanded sharp shooting and calm nerves, especially in the hills. N. Night operations. Own the darkness. Cariappa launched night patrols with armor, catching enemies off guard when they least expected it. D. Dare to close. Tribesmen avoided close combat. Cariappa embraced it. Fast advances and surprise contact broke enemy morale quickly. E. Example from the front. Lead from the front, not from a desk. Cariappa walked with his men, shared their risks, and earned unmatched respect. R. Resist retreat. Never show weakness. Retreat was psychological defeat. He taught his men to stand ground and hold morale. S. Study tribal psychology. Bonus commandment. Understand ego, pride, and fear. He used his knowledge of tribal honor codes to negotiate peace and gain trust. Dosto, more than strategy, it was philosophy. These commandments weren't just about tactics. They were about ethics, leadership, and presence. When Cariappa built a well for tribal women, it wasn't charity. It was psychological warfare through respect, turning fear into faith. He created JCO messes, played sports with troops, and led by example, building a force that was not just trained, but united. Legacy that echoes beyond Bannu. Cariappa's commander's framework became a blueprint for India's future counterinsurgency operations. From Kashmir to Nagaland to Punjab, his ideas lived on. He Indianized military doctrine, moving away from colonial rigidity toward a human-centric, terrain-adaptive philosophy. Final reflection. Leadership in tribal warfare isn't about overpowering the enemy, it's about outthinking, outlasting, and outleading them. Cariappa's commandments remain a timeless doctrine for military minds and future leaders. Let's move to question number 6, which states, Operations Kipper and Easy demonstrated the Indian Army's evolving tactical competence and operational innovation during the 1947-48 Kashmir War. Under Lt. Gen. K.M. Cariappa's command, these missions reversed early setbacks and reasserted Indian control over key sectors. Discuss the following. A. What were the objectives and timelines of Operations Kipper and Easy? And how did they reflect the broader military strategy in the Western Kashmir theatre? B. Analyze the leadership, deception tactics, and execution methods employed in Operation Kipper. How did this operation influence the morale and tactical situation in the Nowshera region? C. Describe the strategic significance and logistical challenges of Operation Easy. How did its successful completion strengthen Indian hold over Poonch and impact the final phase of the war? Dosto, to answer this question, let's move straight into the battlefield of Kashmir 1947-48, where India's fate hung in the balance, and one man's leadership changed the game. Operation Kipper and Operation Easy, tactical brilliance in action. These weren't just military OPS, they were psychological victories, logistical marvels, and proof that India could fight back. A. Setting the stage, objectives and timeline. Operation Kipper, January-February 1948. Objective: reclaim Nowshera, push back enemy dominance, and secure the southern Pir Panjal region. This was personal for Cariappa. After early losses like Jhangar, India needed a comeback. Operation Easy, October-November 1948. Objective: break the siege of Poonch, where thousands of civilians and soldiers were trapped. Strategic goal: link Rajouri to Poonch, close to the Pakistan-held frontier. Both operations marked India's shift from defense to bold, offensive strategy. B. Operation Kipper, tactics, leadership and turnaround. Led by Brigadier Mohammad Usman, with Lieutenant General Cariappa's sharp oversight. Operation Kipper was built on deception tactics. The enemy was tricked into expecting a frontal assault, while Indian troops maneuvered from the flanks. Outcome: 1. Nowshera was liberated. 2. Morale was reignited. 3. The Indian Army reclaimed initiative. And yes, the name Kipper came straight from Cariappa. It wasn't just strategy. It was symbolism, inspiration, and confidence restored. C. Operation Easy, the impossible made possible. Poonch was surrounded, low on food, ammo, and hope. But Cariappa? He chose the harder way. He rejected the easier Hajipir Pass route, too risky. Instead, he took the southern route through Mendhar, Rajouri, and Pir Kaleva. Logistical nightmare. 1. Steep terrain. 2. Limited roads. 3. Harsh weather. But the Indian Army marched on for nation and people. Victory in 3 weeks against all odds. 1. Thanamandi captured. 2. Mendhar secured. 3. Jhangar reclaimed. 4. Poonch relieved. Brigadier Pritam Singh and Brigadier Yadunath Singh reunited at Kotli, a heartfelt, emotional moment of military brotherhood and national triumph. Strategic outcomes. 1. Indian control solidified over Western Kashmir. 2. Civilians saved. 3. Enemy pushed back. 4. India proved it had the will, the plan, and the leadership to win. Cariappa named it Operation Easy, a humble joke that masked the sheer difficulty and brilliance of the mission. Reflections and legacy. This was not just war. It was logistics, morale, terrain, deception, and national vision all rolled into one. Cariappa didn't just fight battles. He crafted them. He inspired generals, empowered soldiers, and defended civilians with a cool mind and an unbreakable spirit. Now moving on to question number 7. Which states Operations Duck and Bison were critical to India's efforts to secure Ladakh and regain control of key mountain passes during the final phase of the 1947-48 Kashmir War? Despite political constraints, Lt. K.M. Cariappa's strategic persistence enabled one of the most daring high-altitude operations in military history. Discuss the following. A. What were the objectives of Operations Duck and Bison, and how did they fit into the broader military context of late 1948? B. Describe the challenges faced by the Indian Army in initiating these operations, including political hesitation and logistical constraints. How did Cariappa overcome them? C. What was the significance of recapturing Jojila, Dras, and Kargil? And how did these operations influence the eventual military and political outcome of the Kashmir conflict? Let's answer this question. A. The mission. What were Duck and Bison all about? First, we will talk about Operation Duck. 1. Retake Jojila Pass, tilde 11, 500 feet, from Pakistani control. 2. Reopen a land route to Leh, which was surrounded and vulnerable. Second about Operation Bison. 1. Follow up to capture Dras and Kargil. 2. Secure the eastern flank of Jammu and Kashmir permanently. Why now? The year was late 1948. The UN had intervened in July, pushing India to pause operations. But Pakistan used that lull to sneak into strategic peaks. Lieutenant General K.M. Cariappa saw the danger. 1. Lose Jojila and Ladakh falls. 2. Lose Ladakh, and Jammu and Kashmir is divided forever. B. Immense challenges, political, logistical, tactical. 1. Political roadblocks. The ceasefire talks made Delhi hesitant. PM Nehru and General Roy Butcher were cautious. 2. Logistical nightmares. Altitude sickness. Icy mountain roads. Tanks in mountains? Unheard of. Cariappa didn't flinch. He warned, "We will lose Ladakh on a platter if we delay." He approved a crazy, genius plan. Airlift M5 Stuart tanks into Baltal. Use speed, surprise, and altitude to do the impossible. The result? On 1st November 1948, Indian tanks rode across Jojila, shocking the enemy. See the results: high-altitude heroism, led by Major General Thimaya and Brigadier Atal. Jojila was retaken. Dras and Kargil soon followed. The road to Leh was reopened. Leh was saved. Ladakh remained Indian. And politically, India entered the January 1949 ceasefire talks from a position of strength. Pakistan was pushed back. India had proven it could wage and win mountain warfare. 3. Legacy. Duck and Bison, more than just operations. This was more than tanks and maps. It was leadership under pressure. A mix of audacity, military innovation, and strategic defiance. Cariappa's voice echoed through every snow-covered ridge. We don't retreat. We adapt. We advance. Now moving to the last and final question. That is question number 8. Which states Operation Bison, launched under Lieutenant General K.M. Cariappa's command, marked a bold and historic use of armored warfare in extreme high-altitude terrain. The Indian Army's breakthrough at Jojila demonstrated innovation, tenacity, and effective joint operations in one of the toughest theaters of the 1947-48 Kashmir War. Discuss the following. A. What were the strategic objectives of Operations Duck and Bison, and how did the Indian Army adapt to terrain and weather-related challenges at Jojila? B. Describe the operational planning, use of armor, and leadership decisions that contributed to the success of Operation Bison. How did this battle redefine mountain warfare? C. What was the broader military and psychological impact of the victory at Jojila on the Kashmir conflict? And how did Cariappa's leadership shape the outcome and legacy of this operation? Let's answer it part by part. A. The mission. Why Jojila mattered. Objectives of Operation Duck and Bison. Recapture the Jojila Pass, gateway to Ladakh. Save Leh, already under threat. Push back Pakistani forces from Dras, Kargil, and Lamuru. But the terrain fought back. Steep, icy climbs at 11,500 feet. Thin air, zero visibility, frostbite. Infantry attempts failed. Gorkhas were left chasing goats for food. Morale was crashing. And then, Cariappa changed the rules of the game. Adaptation, tanks in the sky. The plan? Use light tanks. Yes, tanks at extreme altitude. Engineers built makeshift roads from Baltal to Jojila. tanks were airlifted and hauled up the mountain. Weather delays nearly cancelled the assault, but Cariappa stayed firm. D-Day, 1st November 1948. B. Operation Bison, armored blitzkrieg in the clouds. The execution, led by Brigadier Atal, 77 Para Brigade, and Lieutenant Colonel Rajinder Sparrow Singh, 7 Cavalry. Coordinated with air and artillery support. Tanks punched through Jojila like a sword through snow. It was blitzkrieg in the Himalayas, an Indian military first. Cariappa's leadership. Just 2 infantry brigades, 1 mule battalion, and limited air power. Refused to back down even when told not to move unless 70% sure of success. Shared credit. Took blame. Always forward. See, the victories echo military, moral, and political. The outcome? Jojila fell. Dras and Kargil followed. Leh was saved. Ladakh was secured. Military impact. Froze Pakistani advance in Ladakh. Gave India crucial, high ground before the 1949 ceasefire. Proved that mountain mechanized warfare was possible. Psychological impact. Demolished the myth of tribal superiority in mountain warfare. Skyrocketed troop morale. Operation Bison became a symbol of audacity and survival. Cariappa's legacy. You don't need big armies. You need bold ideas. He showed how innovation, grit, and belief in your men could rewrite doctrine at the rooftop of the world. When the snow settled, the tanks at Jojila had done more than win a battle. They had defined a nation's will to fight against odds. Dosto, that brings us to the end of our journey through one of the boldest chapters in India's military history. From Bannu to Jojila, every operation we covered was more than just strategy. It was about courage, vision, and leadership that shaped the destiny of our armed forces. Now it's your turn. Go through each of the 8 questions deliberately. These aren't just answers, they're your arsenal for the exam. We've left nothing out. This is your complete package. All the best for your preparation. Give it your all. Jai Hind.